Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Forspoken supports the HDR system level calibration on the PlayStation 5, which is usually a very good thing. Unfortunately, in this game, it does not work as it should be. My name is Markus, let's talk about this. So let me explain or show you what I'm talking about. When I'm calibrating my PlayStation 5 to the minimum level, Forspoken will output a maximum peak brightness of around 170 nits, which of course is way too low. And when I now calibrate my PlayStation 5 to the maximum level, then Forspoken will deliver a maximum peak brightness of around 8000 nits, which is of course very nice, but way too much for the LG CX or G2. But now when I calibrate my PlayStation 5 for the G2, which has a maximum peak brightness of around 1000 nits, then I would expect around 1000 nits delivered by the game. But in this case, Forspoken delivers a maximum peak brightness of around 2000 up to 3000 nits, which results in a lot of clipping, especially when you use HDR. And as you can see, there's already something terrible wrong with HDR, and at this stage I'm not even talking about the presentation or quality of HDR, I'm just talking about the, let's call it, handshake between the game and the PlayStation 5 console, because obviously, and that's what I have shown you already, the game supports the PlayStation 5 HDR system level calibration, but in a wrong way. Because even you set up your PlayStation 5 in the correct way, the maximum peak brightness in the game is way too high. And this results in a lot of clipping, especially when you use HDR. And the point is, if a game supports actually the HDR system level calibration on a console, the best way or the recommended way to play a game is with HDR enabled. But in this case, it's not a good idea. And yes, I'm very well aware of that we're talking right now of a demo version, but to be very honest, the game or the release date for this game is the 24th of January. So there's not much time actually to fix things. And to be very honest, with the bad quality what I have seen lately in games, I don't believe it will be fixed in the final version at all. So what we've seen here right now is more or less what we can expect on the 24th. I will be very surprised, of course, if there is a difference, and I hope there is a difference, because right now, at this stage, the PlayStation 5 calibration in combination with the game is just broken. But no worries at all, the video doesn't end here, because I have actually the solution for you as well to play this game in more or less a proper HDR. So there are actually two things what you can do. One thing is very easy, and you can just enable actually dynamic tone mapping off on your TV. So don't use HGIG or don't use dynamic tone mapping on, because this will result with the correct calibration on your PlayStation 5 with a lot of clipping. So you will have a lot of clipping in specular highlights with the correct calibration on your PlayStation 5. The only way to avoid this is to use dynamic tone mapping off. And in the case you like to play this game with HGIG enabled on your TV, then you have to change the PlayStation 5 HDR calibration menu. And I did a lot of testing, and what I found out is if you count from the very beginning 10 clicks, then the game will output a maximum peak brightness of around 750 nits, which fits the LG CX and the LG G2, of course, perfectly. What I also found is when you increase this to 11 clicks, so instead of 10 clicks from the very beginning, you count 11 clicks, the game already puts out a maximum peak brightness of 1500 nits, which results again in a lot of clipping and specular highlights with HGIG enabled. So regardless of what solution you actually prefer right now to avoid clipping in specular highlights, HDR right now is kinda broken in this game. I mean, broken is probably the wrong word, because we're not even talking about the performance of HDR right now or how it looks like or how I like in general the HDR effects. It's really just about the handshake communication between the game and the PlayStation 5. And at this stage, I just hope they will fix HDR sooner than later, because right now, to be very honest, this demo version doesn't make a good impression to me. And yes, I know it's a demo version, but if I let's say like this, if I have to decide now if I like to play the game or not, then that's a clear no, because I don't want to support something like that. Even it's a demo version, they should know what they're releasing, and I get this. We can expect maybe bugs or whatever, or graphical disadvantages in a demo version, but not something like that, in my opinion. That's something essential. That's a main feature of a game, and this should work out of the box, even in a demo version, in my opinion. But right now, it's just broken, and that's not a good thing. I don't know what's going on lately with HDR in games anyway, but it has to stop.